The ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting is underway there in KL. Oh, yeah. There's a show going on. Live pics there from the opening ceremony. And of course, the key topic everyone's been talking about is U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi are also set to attend. And Rubio's trip really comes as President Trump threatens new tariff rates on several countries in Asia unless deals are done by August 1st. Let's get to our correspondent, Minmin. She is at the event for us. Minmin, what's happening?
Yeah, as you can see, the opening ceremony underway. Anwar Ibrahim, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, is here. We have Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio set to attend as well tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big day where there are a lot of dialogue sessions with key partners, including the envoys from South Korea, Japan, Russia, China, the U.S. And of course, this is taking place under the shadow of those tariff threats from Trump. He has sent out the first batch of those letters, many of them targeting Asian countries in Southeast Asia, particularly badly hit. Think about the 40% tariffs that Laos and Myanmar face, over 30% for Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, 25% for Malaysia. And while Marco Rubio is not in charge of trade negotiations, it is his first trip to Southeast Asia in his capacity as Secretary of State. He is the top, highest ranking official so far to have visited this part of the world. So he will most likely be getting a lot of questions about tariffs and to defend the White House's position when it comes to the need to rebalance trade in this region. Of course, the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi is here likely to keep an eye on talks and ensure that Asian nations don't make deals with the U.S. that undercuts Chinese interests. And a lot of these ASEAN countries are really struggling to position themselves between U.S. and China because, of course, China is a huge stakeholder given that ASEAN's trade with China stands at about $980 billion US dollars, which is still more than twice as much as the volume of trade between US and ASEAN.
Yeah, Minmin, I'm just looking at this ceremony underway and it makes me think this is probably maybe going to be the most positive part of this meeting, given just how many challenges these ASEAN nations are facing. You mentioned there about that sort of pressure that we see on countries now being exerted very verbally, it seems, by the US with their focus on BRICS, but also perhaps there's that question mark over China to essentially pick a side, which of course governments aren't going to want to do. But what can we expect in terms of progress on negotiations around certain deals? I'm thinking about Laos, Cambodia, following Vietnam.
Yes, Malaysia in particular as the host country has been calling on ASEAN to come together to form a united front so that they can at least leverage the collective strength of the entire bloc. Talk about 700 million people as well as a $3.8 trillion economy. But so far that unity is being tested by President Trump setting individual levels of tariffs from different countries, and already Vietnam agreed to that tier tariff system. Some other countries like Laos and Vietnam have really high levels. What are they going to offer in exchange for lower tariffs? And they're really in a hard place because many of these Southeast Asian nations are export-oriented countries. They do a lot of trade. Transshipment is a part of that because it's really hard to enforce given that a lot of products now is made up of parts from many different countries. So that's going to be in focus. Plus, not to mention President Trump's latest threat for that 10% penalty tariff on any country that aligns themselves with the BRICS nations. And remember, Indonesia just became a BRICS country earlier this year. Malaysia and Thailand are both partner nations of BRICS as well. Will they be getting those additional 10% tariffs? That's also something to get clarity from the United States on as well.